and welcome back to Scott Swing Sports. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back here with my dad today. He's back. It's time to do more of our college football and NFL predictions for the season. Let's get into those right now. First game out tomorrow night, Georgia Southern and Sam Houston State in the RL Carriers New Orleans Bowl. I will go with Sam Houston State. I think Sam Houston's had a good season after losing to the mighty UCF earlier in the season. I will go with Sam Houston to get the win over Georgia Southern.
Sam Houston's a great turnaround story, but I'm actually going to take Georgia Southern in this one, and I wish the RNL Carriers New Orleans Bowl was a longer name.
Next up in the Cure Bowl from right here at Camping World Stadium, 71 degrees on Saturday at noon.
Nice.
Former UCF PA announcer Eric Kohler is going to be on the call at Camping World Stadium on Saturday, as it'll be Ohio and Jacksonville State. I'm going to go with Ohio and former UCF quarterback, whatever his name is. Yeah, I'll go with Ohio to get the win over Jacksonville State.
I'm going to go the other way again. I'm going to go Jacksonville State in this game. I think they've got a lot of talent. I don't think the MAC was that good this year, so I'm going Jacksonville State.
And I already know I'm going to get comments in my comment section reminding me of who that quarterback was from like David or Riley or somebody like that. Next up in the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl, Tulane and Florida at Raymond James Stadium, a virtual home game for the Gators. I will go with Florida to avenge the loss they got in the Gasparilla Bowl a couple of years ago to UCF and get a win against another American team here in Tulane. I'll go with Florida to get the win over Tulane.
I'm going to agree with Scott on this one. I think the Gators have had a better season than anyone could have expected. I think Florida gets the win.
Next up, Indiana and Notre Dame from Notre Dame Stadium. If I had to predict right now who I think is going to win this game, it will be Notre Dame. But I think that Indiana's going to pull this one off. I think Indiana pulls off the upset. A lot of transfers on this team, so I don't know how much they're going to be together in this game. But I'll take Indiana to pull it off. I think Indiana pulls off the upset over Notre Dame.
Truth is, I think Notre Dame probably has the better team.
Yep.
But just for our good friend Kurt Esser, I'm going to pick Indiana as well. Go Hoosiers.
Next up, SMU and Penn State. I will go with Penn State. I think Penn State's one of the better teams in this first round, so I'll go with Penn State to get the win over SMU.
I agree, Scott. I think SMU is going to keep it closer than people think, but I do believe Penn State is going to get the win.
Next up, Clemson and Texas. From Austin, I will go with Texas. I think Texas gets another win here and probably goes to the semifinals. I'll take Texas to get the win here in a very easy road to the semifinals. I'll take Texas over Clemson.
Yeah, Texas definitely got the easiest draw here. I think Texas could win by 2 touchdowns or more. I think the Longhorns get it done and get it done big.
Next up, Ohio State and Tennessee. I was telling my buddy Riley Carey this earlier this week, and I'm fine if I miss this pick, but I'm going based strictly on the past and what these people have done against teams like this in the past. So I'm going to go with Tennessee because Ohio State always struggles against the SEC team. I will go with Tennessee to find a way to get a win in Columbus in the Horseshoe. 28 degrees. I don't love that, but I'll take Tennessee to pull off the upset over Ohio State.
I think the Michigan game was a wake-up call for Ohio State, and you're going to come out very fired up, very intense. I think Ohio State's going to get the win over Tennessee.
Next up, Coastal Carolina and UTSA. We'll go with the Roadrunners to get the win here. I think UTSA's had a better season than Coastal Carolina, even though it is a virtual home game for Coastal Carolina. I'll go with UTSA to get the win over Coastal Carolina.
One of the best mascots in sports. I'm also going to go with the Roadrunners. I like them in this game against Coastal Carolina.
Next up, Northern Illinois and Fresno State. I will go with Northern Illinois. I think Northern Illinois, this game's going to be played at Albertson Stadium in the famous Idaho Potatoes Bowl. 45 degrees in Albertson Stadium on Monday. I'll go with Northern Illinois to get the win over Fresno.
Northern Illinois obviously had a huge win earlier in the season against Notre Dame, but then they had an uneven season after that. So I'm going with Fresno State in this game.
Next up in the Hawaii Bowl, this bowl game used to be longer named, but I guess they just shortened it this year. And so it'll be South Florida and San Jose State. I just cannot pick them. I'll take San Jose State to get the win. I pray to God this is a blowout. I hope USF fans have a horrible Christmas. So I will take San Jose State to get the win over USF.
I'm not going that far about the horrible Christmas part, but I also have a hard time picking the Bulls. So while they may win, I'm also going to pick San Jose State.
Next up into the NFL games for the weekend. First game out, Broncos and Chargers tomorrow night at SoFi Stadium. I'm going to go with Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers to bounce back. I think Bo Nix is a little bit better than Justin Herbert is right now. But I'm going to take the Chargers and a pissed off Jim Harbaugh this week after getting blown out on Sunday. I'll take the Chargers on a short week to get the win at home over Denver.
I think the Broncos are on a roll. I think they're a better team right now. I would not have said that 4 or 5 weeks ago. I think the Broncos get the win here.
Next up, the 2 Saturday games this year. We get some Saturday afternoon football this week.
Nice.
As it'll be the Houston Texans heading into Arrowhead Stadium to take on either Patrick Mahomes or Carson Wentz and the Kansas City Chiefs. I will go with the Chiefs. I think either one of these quarterbacks will do enough. Carson Wentz is no bad quarterback as a backup, so I'll take the Chiefs at home. Still undefeated at Arrowhead this year. I'll take the Chiefs at home over the Texans.
I'm going to bet that Mahomes does not play, and based on that assumption, I'm going to pick the Texans on the road in this game. If Mahomes plays, I do think Kansas City will win.
Yeah, I still have faith in the Ginger Jesus, so I'll go with Carson Wentz and the Chiefs.
There you go.
Next up, the Pittsburgh Steelers heading into Baltimore to take on the Ravens. My buddy Terry Jewell was not happy with me last week after I picked the Eagles to beat the Steelers. Well, unfortunately, he's not going to be happy with me again this week. I will take Lamar Jackson after a great game last week. He was one of the only reasons I had hope in fantasy last week until I lost by 70 points to
close game.
One of my buddies, Tyler Karen, over there with 96-9 the game. I will take Baltimore at home over the Steelers.
Everything tells me that Baltimore should win this game, but for my buddy Terry Jewell, I'm going to take the Steelers to get a bounce-back win this week against the Ravens.
No surprise. Now into the Sunday games. First game out, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It'll be Tommy DeVito and the New York Giants coming off another bad performance on Sunday as they got humiliated by the Baltimore Ravens. As they head into the Mercedes-Benz Stadium to take on another rookie starting quarterback this year in Michael Penix in the Atlanta Falcons. This is the perfect matchup for him to come out and play well this week. I guarantee you on First Take on Monday, they're going to be talking about how great Michael Penix is and how he should have been starting all season. He's going to throw for like 4 touchdowns. Give me the Falcons at home over the Giants.
As much as I want the Giants to win because it would benefit the Bucs, unfortunately I can't pick them this game. They're so bad, and I think the Falcons at home get it done.
Next up, the Detroit Lions, who are in a very bad spot right now with all the injuries that they have on that defense, and David Montgomery out for the rest of the year, as they head into Soldier Field in Chicago to take on Caleb Williams and the Bears. 30 degrees in Chicago on Sunday afternoon. I will take the Lions, though. I think the Lions are going to benefit from some mistakes from Caleb Williams this week. I think it's a high-scoring game, but I'll take the Lions to get it done over the Bears.
Yeah, it seems like despite the number of injuries the Lions have had, they've been pretty darn good, with the exception of last week, of course. And Chicago doesn't have much to play for. I think the Lions also get it done.
Next up, another quarterback change for the Cleveland Browns this week, as they will go with DTR this week as they take on the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. I will go with Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals to keep their slim playoff hopes alive with a win at home over the Browns.
It's like the best quarterback season ever for a losing team. Burrows is just unbelievable. I agree. Burrows gets it done. The Bengals win. Next
up, the Tennessee Titans heading into Indy to take on the Indianapolis Colts. Neither of these teams have anything to play for. So I'm going to go with AR5 and the Indianapolis Colts to get the win here at home over the Titans.
I agree. I think the fact that the Colts are at home and the Titans are really a pretty bad team, I like the Colts.
Next up, the Los Angeles Rams heading into MetLife to take on Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. I will go with the Rams to keep it going. I think the Rams know they got to keep winning to have a chance to make the playoffs. So I'll go with Matthew Stafford and the Rams to get it done on the road in MetLife against the Jets.
I agree with Scott. I think this will be a closer game than many people think, but I also believe the Rams will get it done.
Next up, in another game that could help out the Bucks, is it'll be the 12-2 Philadelphia Eagles heading in to Washington to take on the Washington Commanders after winning by 1 point on Sunday against the New Orleans Saints. I will go with Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles to keep that offense humming after what I saw last Sunday, with all the people complaining about how bad the passing game was and how A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith were not getting the ball enough. They threw for like 3 touchdowns last week. I'll take the Eagles on the road over the Commanders.
Commanders are like a Jekyll and Hyde team this year. It's hard to know which team's going to show up. Eagles have been more consistent, so I agree with Scott. I'm going to go with the Eagles in this one.
Next up, the Arizona Cardinals heading into Charlotte to take on the Carolina Panthers. I made the mistake last week of picking Carolina. I'm not doing that again this year. I'll take Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals to get the win on the road over the Panthers.
I'm going to pick an upset here. I think the Panthers get a win with Arizona traveling east. I think Carolina gets a very close win in this one.
Next up, the Minnesota Vikings heading into Seattle to take on the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings and my head coach of the year, Kevin O'Connell, and the Minnesota Vikings get the win on the road in Seattle against the Seahawks.
Minnesota's been definitely a surprise team this year for sure with the injury to their quarterback. Sam Darnold's been a great story. I think this is going to be a very, very good game, but I think the Vikings win in a field goal.
Next up, it'll be Drake May and the New England Patriots heading in to Buffalo to take on Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Undefeated at home this year are the Bills. I will take Buffalo to get it done at home. I think Josh Allen's continuing to play well. So I'll go with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills to get it done at home over the Patriots.
I agree with Scott again. I mean, what a quarterback mismatch. Drake May versus Josh Allen. Allen probably should win the MVP this year. I like the Bills in this one big.
Next up in the dumpster fire game of the week is it'll be the 3-11 Jacksonville Jaguars heading into Las Vegas to take on the 2-12 Las Vegas Raiders.
So
I will go with a team that I think wants to win this game the most, and that will be Trevor Lawrence and the Mac Jones and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think Mac Jones is playing for his spot in the starting quarterback in the NFL next year. So I'll go with Jacksonville on the road over the Raiders.
I'm going to go the other way. I think the Raiders playing at home. They've obviously disappointed the home fans week after week. This is a winnable game. I think the Raiders win an ugly contest.
Next up, the San Francisco 49ers heading into Miami to take on the Dolphins. I will go with San Francisco. I think Brock Purdy's going to play well enough this week to get the win, so I'll go with the Niners over the Dolphins.
It's a tough one for me to pick because both teams have been so inconsistent. But since the Dolphins are at home and the Niners have so many injuries, I'm going to go with the Dolphins.
Next up, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers heading into Dallas to take on the Dallas Cowboys. Tough pick here, but I'm going to go with Tampa Bay to win and cover. I think the Buccaneers win this game by about 10 points. No Trayvon Diggs this week, which really helps out the offense. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay on the road to get a second straight win in Dallas to get a win on the road against the Cowboys.
I think this is going to be a closer game than Scott expects, honestly. I think
points?
Dallas is, yeah, I do. I think Dallas, their pass rush could give Mayfield the Bucs problems, but I think we've been getting the ball out of Baker's hands pretty quickly, so I do like the Bucs to win this one in a close one.
Next up, Monday Night Football. It'll be the New Orleans Saints heading into Lambeau Field to take on the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to go with Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers to keep pace in the NFC North and get the win at home of the Saints.
Yeah, the Packers have something to play for. The Saints really don't. It's going to be cold. So give me the Packers. I think they'll win pretty easily.
It's supposed to be 30 degrees on Monday night at Lambeau. And I will do it
That's
for
pretty
this
warm this
episode
year.
of Scott Speaking Sports. I will be back next week with some more college football and NFL predictions on Facebook next week, just so you guys can enjoy your Christmas with your family. So Merry Christmas, guys, and I'll see you guys in the new year with some more college football and NFL predictions. And I'll finally start getting into some more WWE predictions now that the NFL and college football seasons are ending. And I'll see you guys right back here next week on Scott Speaking Sports. Merry Christmas, guys.
See you guys.